Hi guys, this is Shayda from the 11th apartment. You've asked about the markers that I'm using and this is the video answer, so check it out and keep those questions coming. So to begin, I'll just tell you a little bit about the artist's pens that I like to use when I'm doing my drawings or when I'm doing lettering. I always go back time and again to my Sharpie. It lays down a nice solid line. It works on a lot of surfaces, but it is sort of an all-purpose pen and it's not so much an artist pen. If you're getting a little more serious about hand lettering, you may notice that your Sharpie will bleed out just ever so slightly, that you don't have absolute control over your line. And this is the Staedtler. They're more for professional use. This is the Staedtler Triplus Fine Liner. It lays down a really nice line. You have a lot of control. They come in different sizes, so the point of the pen is actually a different size, and you can choose your size, and they come in lots of different colors. I have a gray and a black here, so they're really great. The markers that I use all fall under one heading, and they're artists' markers. So they're not Crayola, they're not craft markers or children's markers, they're artist markers. And then within that, there are two types of markers. So there's the art marker and the brush marker. So the first one I'll talk about is the brush marker. And this is a brush marker. The ones that I've purchased have 2 points. So the first tip is quite small, and then the second tip, and that's where the marker gets its name, looks like the paintbrush. The pigment comes out of all sides of the tip, so they're really easy to lay down color, and you'll see me do this in the videos, and I use my brush marker for this when I just go over some lettering I've done or something and I lay down a color. And that brush marker is so key for that because you're sort of holding it on an angle and you're allowing the ink to sort of come out of the side of the pen. So these are really great for illustration, and for laying down large areas of color. So I love the brush markers, but I also like my artist markers. And my artist markers, again, has the small tip, and then it's a dual tip, so it has the other side. And the other side of the art marker is more of an angled, almost square tip. And that can also be really good for filling in color. It's great for doing straight lines. And you have a little more control because you can use different sides of that tip. And they're fun to experiment with. Of course, people have asked as well about the brands that I'm using. And what I've done is I've never gone out and bought a set of markers. They tend to be quite expensive, but not overpriced, because they will last you a long time. If you're purchasing artist markers, you're going to have them for quite a while. They won't dry out quickly, or they shouldn't. But what I tend to do is I'll just buy a marker or two based on the project I'm doing. I really like Prismacolors. Prisma makes great art markers and brush markers. This is a brush marker here in a nice periwinkle blue, so I really like those. Any of these markers that you don't recognize, I know people have asked many times, where are these from? These markers are all from a Canadian art store called Desir's. And I wouldn't particularly recommend them. I know that you see me using them again and again in the videos. There's nothing really special about these. They're going to be hard to find if you're outside of Canada because they're just sort of the no-name Desir's art store brand marker. What I would do is I would go with your local art store's brand, whatever that is. And I trust Prismacolor. My Prismacolor markers are my best markers, and they last the longest, so they're not drying out. I've had some Prismacolors that I've had for 5-6 years, and they're still just like the day I bought them. So that is it. That's the artist markers. Come in two types, a brush marker and an art marker. They're both great. I would suggest going out and buying a couple and just seeing what you like. You can sort of lay down color pretty easily with both of these markers. Here I'm using the art marker, the Artist Art marker, and I'm just going to fill this in. You do have control because you can sort of change the way you hold it, so you can either lay down large sections of color or you can get a little more control with the tip. I think for me the brush marker is my favorite. I just like the way that that very sort of paintbrush-like tip allows you such control of your marker. What the Sharpie Ultra Fine Point is also good for, other than lettering and small things, is that you can do line shading and you can sort of lay color down with that. So you can do small sections. Another great way to fill in with color, other than using the markers, is to use chalk pastels. Chalk pastels are relatively inexpensive. You can find them at most art stores and craft stores. And I think I've said before, they sort of give the look of a caricature that you have done at a theme park. So you lay down this nice strong black color, these strong black lines, you've got this graphic image, and then you just add a little color on top. So let's see here. Like that, and then I'll go back in and smudge it. There we go. So that's the look of the chalk pastel. Very cute and sweet, and it's another great way that you can add color to your hand lettered designs. Thanks for watching.